Dr. Perigin, would you please read us in our pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In our moment of silence, we honor what words cannot express. I'd like to reflect and remember two of our administrators from Washington County, which has recently passed away, Mrs. Patricia Sora and Mr. David Henry. So if you would prefer, please pause with us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, item number 1.05, approve meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have Mr. Wilson, motion, second. Ms. Nichols, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we would like to take a vote. All of those in favor, raise your hand. 7-0. At this time, we'll recognize 2.01 VSBA School Board Appreciation. Dr. Perigin.
Madam Chair, members of the board, on behalf of all of Washington County Public Schools, our staff, our students, and our community, I would like to take just a moment to say thank you for your unfailing service to our community. As you know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into being a school board member, a lot of time that goes into it, and it goes unappreciated and unnoticed. But I will tell you that our team appreciates everything that you do for us, your focus on students, your focus on improving salaries and benefits for our employees, and all of the tireless work that you do that goes into making sure that we have awesome policy. So as February is School Board Appreciation Month, we would like to take just a moment to recognize you for your contributions and to thank you for being champions of opportunity and advocates for excellence. And so, Ms. Anderson, I'll start with you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair. Dr. Brand. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sorry. Dr. Fred. Psych. Yeah, they're make me walk. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much. The older member of this board, not by age, by experience.
Yes, that's right.
Ms. Nichols.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Rasnick. Congratulations. And it's probably alphabetical order. I get it now. There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. But we also have some unelected members of the board as well that we would like to recognize. And I know this has been the first year that we've had student representatives to our school board, and the amount of input and feedback and just value that they've brought to our school board meetings, I think, has been exceptional. And so I would like to take just a minute on behalf not only of our entire school community, but also our school board to recognize our honorary school board members who have served in that capacity. So Emma Barr. We'll let you come up. People would rather see. Emma, thank you very much.
you.
Congratulations. And then Skylar Doyle. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And Isabella Stewart. Congratulations. Thank you very much. We appreciate you guys. Of course, we do have two additional school board reps. They'll be at our next meeting. I know that you've received some nice gifts from all of our schools, and you'll probably be receiving some more as time goes on. But it goes without saying how much I appreciate you. But I know on behalf of our entire school community, you guys are a phenomenal board that puts our students and our staff first. And Washington County is a better place, and our public education system is a better place because of each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
2.02, Dr. Williams, would you come forward? Recognition of the John S. Battle High School Robotic Drone Team, and then also the Patrick Henry High School Robotic Drone Team.
I will, and I thank you. Board members, I want to just express personally myself to each of you how much I appreciate you and how much we appreciate being able to work with you as a team. Thank you for all of that. And I noticed one of the things that Dr. Perigin mentioned was that you're champions of innovation. And so tonight we have for you a couple of teams who'd like to show you how we are expressing that, how we've kind of found a way to stretch what we've been doing in the past, and hopefully we're going to continue to grow that as well. I do have some certificates and some recognitions for them, but I'd like to give them the opportunity first, if you don't mind, to come and talk to you, to introduce themselves a little bit, tell you a little bit about what they've been up to. These will be the first Robot Drone League competitors that Washington County has ever had. One of which walked away with the national championship. The other walked away with the Rookie of the Year team. So we are extremely proud of them and the hard work that has gone into that. But I'm going to turn it over for just a few minutes to their coaches, Mr. Andrew Smith and Mr. Eric Hoffman.
Hi there. First, I want to introduce John Battle's team. First, we have Alan. You all can stand up. And with Noah.
You can even say the last names, Mr. Smith.
Oh, Alan Sweeney, Noah Brown, Owen Slaughter, and Cass Walters. And then we have Andrew McConnell, who he couldn't be here tonight. But these are the 5 kids from John Battle that competed. We went to a region tournament in November, UVA-wise. And, you know, this is our first team. We just said, let's just go to the competition and see what happens. We took our robots and our drones. They got the Autonomous Award. And we did get second place. I don't remember who beat us, but I think they're also in the room. But we did get second place. It was a close
question, they'll tell you.
It was a close call. And they did an excellent job. And I'm going to let Eric introduce Patrick Henry's team, and then we have a little video to just kind of show.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you for letting us be here, Board. We really appreciate the time and effort that you guys put into our students, and this is a direct reflection of the abilities that they have and the resources that they have coming from Washington County, and we just want to thank you for that. To introduce the team, we have Holden Belcher here. We have Bryce Reynolds, Bryce Clement, my son Bishop Ratliff, and then we have 2 team members that couldn't make it, one for fever and then one for ride, Isaac Coleman. And then also, you guys help me out real quick. Yeah, Mr. Gent, Connor Gent. They couldn't be here today. But what a stellar team. We competed in the regionals as well, and we might have been that team that off the competition there. But we aligned up with Elizabethton High School. That's part of how this competition works, and I think it's just an excellent attribute to soft skills, public speaking, collaboration, communication, all the things, not to mention all the STEM work that goes into it. But we came away with a Alliance Team Championship, the regionals, and we received the Rookie of the Year at the regionals, and then in the state competition, obviously from all the wonderful PR that we've gotten. We were deemed Alliance National Champions. What a great honor that was to be a part of that and to represent Patrick Henry High School and these wonderful students here. So, we put together a little. I will say these kids are really excited. These teams worked really well together. I will also mention that we probably wouldn't have the national title if we didn't get an autonomous code from John Battle. They shared that with us. So, that helped out.
I regretted it when they actually did it.
But that's RDL speak. So I will say that these kids are really motivated. On the way here, my son was asking me when the next competition is. I sadly had to tell him that our season might be at an end for this year, but then again, he's like, what about that competition and this competition? So I say, well, let's talk to the board and see how far they can take us. So, just to put a little plug in there, I hope you enjoy this video. Took 2 days to make a video that lasts about 3 minutes, and we hope you enjoy it. The goal of this video is to put you in the place of the student while they're at this competition, so I hope you enjoy it.
All right, so what I need everyone in the stands to do is when their drone is up in the air, just start blowing really hard on towards the field, okay? And then you know, cut off that RPL. All right, I see a drone up in the autonomous period. I see a couple robots moving. A little high. Oh, I see. You're in the autonomous period. That's gosh, so you already talked to Ryan's team about, hey, we got up top, then we come down below. I'm like, in county, how's it going over here? Freeze out. And then I'll be able to go to my
That is not their robot.
Awesome.
So we do want to just again say thank you. Guys, I would like to ask, for those who don't speak drone, the autonomous portion or robots, the autonomous portion is the portion where they have to code it, set it down, and then hands off just to see if it will go and do what they want it to do. Not always an easy task. And once you do it, there was how long was the autonomous period before you could, 1 minute? So for 1 minute, if your autonomous code did not work, you have to stand hands off and wait for for everybody else's to go. That's what they meant when they said they shared a code. So these guys figured out a code that got these guys a whole lot of points in the final rounds. So because they were nice enough to share it. One of the greatest things I think about this competition, though, is that it's more about, like Mr. Hoffman was saying, soft skills and networking. You heard him say they had to form an alliance. Well, no one won on their own. Once they had their teams created, they could earn points, but in the final round, you had to form an alliance with another team. And it was an alliance champion that came out at the end. So they networked through the whole competition to determine who they wanted to be in an alliance with. And they kind of already had those things set up before they went in. And you know, someone can ask you to be in your alliance and you can say, no, I don't want to be in your alliance. And that happened to Patrick Henry multiple times. Everybody wanted to be in alliance with our teams, and they would just say nope because they already knew who they wanted to be in the alliance with. And it paid off in the end because they were able to use those soft skills to figure out who to form an alliance with to help put the points on the board. So there were a lot of things there. Not only that, you got extra points if you flew your drone over to a screen and read some questions and came back and answered the questions. So it wasn't just flying the drone or doing the robot. There were a lot of skills involved there. And I'd love for you to be able to ask them some questions and get their perspective on it. But I will go ahead and give out their certificates. We want to appreciate you and make sure that you get one more recognition from us, and then I think Miss Hope would like to take your picture as well. So I'll start with John Battle's team. Mr. Smith. Congratulations. Come on up here. Noah Brown. Congratulations. Andrew McConnell. Didn't come. Okay. Owens. Slaughter. Alan Sweeney. And Cass Walters. Cass was our only female member this time, but she's going to recruit and bring us some more girls for next
She did design the shirts too that we made.
year. Yeah. All right, and then for Patrick Henry, Mr. Hoffman. Holden Belcher. It says Richard, but that's your dad, right? Yeah. Bryce Clement. Isaac Coleman. Connor Gant. Bishop Ratliff. He did not hurt his arm at the robot competition. He does other things. And Bryce Reynolds. So, thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
You guys just kind of want to gather around a little bit closer.
Y'all blend.
If y'all get up against the dais here, the board will stand up behind you if that's okay. Well, I don't know. We'll have to get on a chair.
All right, everyone ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you, guys.
At this time, I'd like to give our board members the opportunity to comment. So we will start with Ms. Nichols.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I just want to extend a very heartfelt congratulations to each of you for all your hard work and dedication. And I'm just so extremely impressed with not only like the the technical skill that's required to be good at this, because I mean it is innovation and coding and really being very savvy with computers, as well as as Dr. Williams mentioned, the relationship building and the soft skills and the networking. I mean, all the above is going to help you as an adult. And so, I mean, it's just really amazing that you're cultivating these skills now. And, I mean, way ahead of the game than when I was in high school for sure. And so keep up the good work. Also, I want to give a shout out to John Battle's robotics team, because the majority of these students are also in Sister Act. After the school board meeting, they're going to go to play practice, and Cass also helps build sets. So I mean, all of them are involved in theater, and so thank you guys for being so diverse in your skills, and also being so involved in school activities, because that really is what makes John Battle so special. So thank you. And then Patrick Henry, are you any of you guys in theater too? Okay.
They're in plenty.
Absolutely. Well, and I know too where it's the same as John Battle, as far as like maybe smaller number of student bodies. So each kid probably wears a couple of different hats, involved in many different things. But again, that's really what enriches your high school experiences. So thank you guys for being so involved.
Congratulations to both teams, and like Ms. Nichols said, a well-rounded student. You are, all of you, drama and other organizations and maybe some sports. But I would like to say this: it's always good when we can leave Washington County and go and just beat the tar out of somebody, especially wives. But we you guys are doing something. I think as a parent back there, I can't even put Lincoln Logs together. And, this is amazing, and you can carry this on to maybe some of your future jobs and be making bukus of money, and keep up the hard work. And I'd like to thank the parents for encouraging, and the coaches too, for doing what they do for you guys, and keep up the. How many are seniors this year? Looks like you got to recruit you a little bit, Coach.
Already on it.
But congratulations, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, you're really the pioneers of this. You know, you're the initial ones to begin this, and probably with your all success, what would be most valuable to the longevity of the program is for you to share with other students. You know, this is what it's involved. This is how you can be a part of this program. This is what you can do in the future as well. And anytime you get a chance to be first and pioneer something, the legacy starts with you all. Now, you all left a big legacy, you know, with all the awards you received. But at the same time, you know, we count on you, and I'm sure the coaches count on you all as pioneers of the program to then talk to other students and encourage them to be a part of that program too, because that's what we want to see. We want to see longevity in new programs and things that students can participate in. That's what we're all about. So congratulations and thank you.
Congratulations. I have a question. Do any of you look to pursue careers in robotics or any of the skills that are associated with your competition?
Aerospace engineering. We had a award assembly at Patrick Henry the other day, and we actually had two students that zoomed in from Huntsville, Alabama, but it was the
U.S. Space and Rocket Center.
U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Two of them were on a college visit, and actually, Bryce, I believe you committed.
Nice.
Nice. And I saw on the front row as well.
I want to learn how to make video games,
Very good.
learn how to code them.
If you can learn how to code, you'll write your own checks these days. That's excellent. Congratulations. I'm excited to hear what you all are going to do in the future.
So as everyone has said, congratulations. And like Dr. Brandon said, you know, being the first ones to do this is very exciting. It's just amazing to see the different avenues that our students go down. But I did notice you have a robot under your chair, so we would love to see it work if you guys don't mind.
They would love to have a bigger one too. As soon as they won, that's what they told me. We need some better robots.
Like if we put a water bottle on the floor, can you pick
Yes.
it? Oh yeah, we have someone put.
Actually, this competition was called Mineshaft, and it was kind of developed after Appalachian. And the idea was that they wanted to bring recognition to our area about coal mining and hydroelectric dams and all the things that we're using. And so the course was set up just like that. And actually, we put the piece of coal in its grip there. You'll see part of the competition, they would have to, whenever they blew up the TNT that you saw in the video, they would have to go in the mine shaft and retrieve coal, bring it back to a bucket, move the bucket down the train tracks, just like it happened.
Wow.
Yay!
Well, you got to bring it here to me now.
Slick floors. That's what I
There you
I
go.
need one of these at the house.
I'll get it. Take it right from me. You need to send somebody to operate it because it is that
Good boy.
It's got a little Hummer action in it too, like a commercial on TV where it can sidetrack like that back and forth. Yeah.
Thank you. I'd just like to share that you were asked where do we go next. You know, there's a program on TV called You Got Talent. That star that I saw in your video, do you remember that the last episode of You Got Talent, those drones were in the top 3?
They also asked for that kit, so just.
That was really awesome, so I can future say, I would not be surprised to see any of you all doing something like that. So congratulations.
I'd like to say congratulations too, and Coach Smith, Coach Hoffman, thank you all for taking time with these young people and individuals and giving them the opportunity to compete in these competitions. With our world today, robotics and drones are becoming a part of everyday life. Even with the drones, the things that you can do with them to make things more efficient. I've got one sitting in my office that's supposed to spray and seed, but I don't know how to operate it. But anyway, y'all are looking for a job this summer.
Oh, there's one.
It's all about efficiency, and you all are ahead of the game, ahead of a lot of people. I mean, you all stepped into this program and told everybody who we are here in Washington County, and I can't thank you all enough for leading that prime example and setting the bar high from now on. So congratulations.
Madam Chair, if I could just for a second, these kids are sitting here and they're acting so polite and kind. But I'm going to tell you, I went to John Battle the day of the competition as they were getting ready to leave, and I had a conversation with these young folks up here, and this is a rivalry. This is not a friendly competition. And the fact that y'all shared that code with Patrick Henry after the things y'all said about him while I was down there,
The truth comes out.
yeah. No, there was a very healthy, competitive respect. And I've talked to all you guys about that. I am super proud of you, but I just want to point out to the board, as y'all have set goals for our school division, for the type of students that we want to put out into the workforce or out into college after the fact, some of the things that y'all have asked us to make sure our students are ready to do is to communicate well. It's obvious that they can do that. To solve problems, they had to solve problems in order to be successful in this. Work-based learning experiences, if we got, perfect examples of that and the soft skills that go along with it. Collaboration, they have collaborated together. They've collaborated with other teams. Of course, innovation is a huge focus for this board, and I don't know that we're doing many things that are more innovative than what we have just heard about tonight. But most importantly, I would say this board has set the goal for Washington County Public Schools to be number one in everything that we do. And we have rookies of the year here. We have national champions here. And if that don't get you fired up, your wick is wet. So I'm just telling you, guys, I'm proud of y'all. Y'all have brought pride to our division. You brought pride to your high schools. And I could not be a prouder superintendent than I am tonight. And congratulations and thank y'all for what y'all have done for our school division. So thank you.
And you're getting a snow day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I would, Coach Hoffman and Williams, I would put that request into Dr. Williams right now, Superintendent, for the new robot.
Well, they've already done. They did that on the way back.
Absolutely. You'll be hearing from us for sure.
Congratulations, y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 3.01, student school board representatives. Dr. Perigin, I'll let you.
Madam Chair, I am going to, if you guys are welcome to stay all night. I've got about a 45-minute budget presentation that I know y'all will love and enjoy watching. But y'all are welcome to stay, but you don't feel like you have to.
We'll stick around if there's a robotic drone left.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys, and congratulations. Super proud of you.
Emma, I'm going to call on you first. If that's as everybody is getting ready to roll, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
First off, I want to say thank you guys for having us here, and thank you for all that you do. Big thank you to Ms. Anderson for representing Holston. So we don't have much going on right now. Our sports teams are doing really well. Our varsity girls and boys basketball teams won their games last night in the district tournament, so we're really proud of them. 9 of our wrestlers qualified for state, and they're going to Salem this weekend. Our combined winter guard team with PH actually competed at the Cherokee High School this past weekend and placed first, so we're really proud of them. And our ladies on our 200-meter relay team beat a school record this last week. And that record was actually set in 1983, so that's really cool that they were able to beat that. Then we have our FFA week going on this week. We have dress-up days, so we got to do one of those today. We also have our FFA annual Phil Lineberry Scholarship Bingo. That's a huge fundraiser for our FFA chapter. And I think last year we were able to give away 4 or 5 scholarships, so that was really good. That's happening on March 1st. We'd love it if you guys would come and support us. The doors open at 5 for that. We have our blood drives happening this Thursday, so we love those. Very big opportunity for seniors to be able to get that cord at graduation. We have a band concert next Tuesday, so that is our for our assessment. They've been working really hard for that. And we have our annual Miss and Junior Miss HHS pageant on March 8th. So that's a big fundraiser for our SCA. So we'd love it if you guys would come out and support us in all these activities that we're doing. That's about it that's going on at Holston right now.
Emma, that sounds like plenty. And congratulations. I think you're on that color guard team, right?
I'm on the fall team.
Okay,
not on the
gotcha.
winter
All
team
right.
anymore.
I knew you were on the fall. Good deal. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm sorry I'm ruining your FFA dress-up week with all these school closures, but
You're okay.
maybe we can get them rescheduled.
Question, did we move the Phil Lineberry from this Saturday
We did.
to?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Isabella.
Well, hello everyone. I'm glad to be back. I want to say thank you for allowing us to be here. I truly have appreciated this year and getting to be here with you all and advocate a little bit about what we're doing at Patrick Henry. I will say, I've told the other student representatives that we have quite a heavy length of information that we've been doing at Patrick Henry, which I'm quite proud of. But bear with me, I'll try and be fast. So our varsity boys basketball team, they're playing right now. I think the game just started. They claimed the district championship. This is our first district championship since 1986, so it's a pretty big deal. They're currently ranked 2nd in state in Group A, and we're trying to move our way up literally as we speak. Our boys swim team qualified for regions in both the 200 and 400 freestyle relay teams, and then they qualified for state just recently last week. Our indoor track team is quite impressive again this year. They compete at region meet this Saturday in Salem, and currently some of our athletes are already well known. I'm not sure if you know, but the Buchanans are pretty fast. So Grant Buchanan, he's actually ranked #1 in long jump, so we'll see how that goes this Saturday. Tyler Barrett is ranked #1 for throwing across the state and 15th in the country across the country. So that's pretty impressive. Tyler did sign to Georgetown for football just recently, though, so they're getting him for football, not throwing. Sophia Wright also signed to Lincoln Memorial University for softball. Lexi Cook signed to Southwest Virginia Community College for softball, and Jennifer Reynolds signed to Emory and Henry University for volleyball. And that all just happened over the winter, so look out, spring. Our academics are also very impressive. Our Scholastic Bowl became Superintendent's Cup champions. They had district and regional championships. They claimed super regional runner-up and qualified for the state championship, and that is the last week in March. As you know, our robotic/drone league became National Alliance champions, so we're very proud of them. Over this past weekend, Will Duncan and Grayson Pruitt won Region D Speech and Forensics Championships, which is pretty impressive. We also had chorus students. Zen Moser and Lottie Gindel were recently named All-State Chorus, while Twyla Brimner and Grayson Pruitt were selected as first alternates, And then in and throughout PH, we've been doing a lot of different initiatives recently. Dr. Duncan loves educating the students and doing it a little bit differently than just sitting in class all day, which I think some of the students appreciate, even though we haven't been in class a lot recently. So we hosted a Martin Luther King Assembly with former PH student and former Washington County Public Schools teacher, coach, and administrator, Dennis Hill. And this was a very informative opportunity, and honestly, it was very exciting to have a PH fan back in the building. So that was very inspiring for us at Patrick Henry. We also had our winter homecoming recently. That game was against Chilhowie, and that happened during the halftime of the boys' varsity basketball game. So it got a little late, but it was still very exciting, trust me. This is an awesome program that we do. It kind of takes the popularity competition away from homecoming, which is a big deal nowadays in high school, and we focus all on giving back to the community. So over the last years, we have raised generous donations, and just this year we finished with $14,741.34, which is very impressive. I actually got the opportunity to be on the homecoming court this year, and I will say it is really inspiring, not just to give back to our community and see the impact that it makes, but to see our school come together. I think it's a huge deal. Additionally, we have been doing a kindness fundraiser project for the Isaiah 117 house to kind of advocate for our students what kindness means, especially because this is Random Acts of Kindness Month. So this is sponsored by our Communities in Schools representative, Miss Johnson, who is great in our school, and she has done so much for our community. And this really has encouraged students to not only give back to our school, but then the community around us, which I think is an awesome opportunity. And last but not least, I saved this for last because I'm biased to this one, but this is National FFA Week. And we also created dress-up days like Emma said. Unfortunately, the only day we had was Camo Day. So I'm hoping for maybe one more, but we'll see. We're really excited because as of now, we still plan to host our agriculture career fair on Friday. If for some reason the snow sticks with us, we'll move it, don't worry. But this is going to be an awesome opportunity to invite numerous agricultural professionals from all over Southwest Virginia. And we really wanted to do something a little bit different than we've done in the past. National FFA Week is a big deal for FFA members, but not a lot of students know what that means because not a lot of students want to be farmers or want to tag along with us with FFA, and I think that being able to bring this in is going to create great opportunities because one of the biggest things for us in FFA is career development and leadership development events, and this will definitely help students be able to communicate with professionals in agriculture and kind of get to see how almost every occupation in Southwest Virginia ties into agriculture. So we're really excited about that. I know some of you all are joining us, so if it doesn't happen on Friday, I'll be reaching out to you all. But that's all we have at Patrick Henry, and we're really proud of our Rebels, so thank you.
That's all they have at Patrick Henry.
Yeah, that's all we have.
That's all. That's awesome, Isabella. All right, Skylar, as you know, is not only a school board rep, but he is also my personal weather advisor. So those of you who are looking forward to close day, you can thank Skylar for his input along with that. Skylar, what are you sharing with us tonight?
So our battle basketball team, they finished their season last night in the first round of the district tournament, and both two players actually this season reached their 1,000th point mark in their career. One girls player, Kara Kelly, and also a boys player, Porter Gobble, which is actually only the second boy in battle history to do so. Our Scholastic Bowl team did compete at the Superintendent's Cup, and we finished second as a team. Patrick Henry was just a little bit better than us in that competition. Also, our FBLA team, they'll be competing in competitive events coming up next Tuesday, and then they will find out if they'll advance the state on March the 5th. And then our musical is going to take place at the end of this month and the start of March. That's February 28th, March 1st, and March 2nd at John Battle. And then our cheer team also competed in their first ever national competition in Orlando. And our wrestling team, just like some of the other schools, they're heading to state on Saturday in Salem. And the team had 4 wrestlers that qualified for state, and we also have 6 alternates that are going as well. And then our Winter Guard team, like the other 2 schools, they've been competing already, and then they'll keep competing throughout February and March before their championships on March 29th in Johnson City. And then our baseball team, they're having their annual pancake breakfast at the Goodson-Kendrick Fire Department on March 1st at 8 o'clock.
Tell him I've not received my invitation yet.
Okay.
I look forward to that.
I'll make sure.
Skylar, you want to share any insights about your ride along with Mr. Hockett?
That was fun. So we went up to White Top when we went. We went up toward White Top. It wasn't as snowy as what it might be coming up here soon, but it definitely was a fun experience.
What time did you get up and go?
That was an evening ride along.
Oh, that was evening. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave a little break.
Could you share the forecast?
2 to 4 inches of snow basically countywide through Thursday morning.
Starting when?
Tomorrow morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Your prediction for out of school or staying on the ground?
Probably through at least Thursday, if not Friday.
You better call the field.
Scholar, I think you also have a new work-based learning opportunity too.
I do. I'm not going to share it just yet.
Okay,
though.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. That's our secret then.
Hey, Scholar, who's the only other, was it one of those Posey boys that scored a
Yes, it was
foul?
Mike Posey.
Mike
Yes.
Posey, okay, that's what I thought.
All right, do we have any questions or comments from board? If not,
I just wanted to tell you thank you,
Yeah.
Madam Chair. It's like so grateful for you, and I'm so glad that you got to share in School Board Appreciation. Thank you so much for the certificate. Thank you so much for the certificates to acknowledge your service, because I mean it is something that you're volunteering to give your time and energy, and definitely your feedback has been, and just having you here in our meeting has been special, but also it's been invaluable. So thank you so much for helping us.
thank you. Okay, item number 4.01, students superintendent's report, Dr. Perigin.
Yeah, I'm gonna start moving myself before them because I can't compete. I just can't compete with that. You have the information there before you. I was asked to serve on a panel with law enforcement from all over Southwest Virginia, including some state police and federal officers with Attorney General Miyares, and we talked about providing safe environments for our students, not only while they're at school, but while they're on their devices. One of the conversations that came up is, I think that our school community that serving kids we understand the dangers, but I'm not so sure that our parents really understand how dangerous the cyber world can be. And so we've come up with an idea that we're going to do something later in the spring at some of our elementary schools to educate our grandparents. All you have to do is offer gravy and biscuits and a grandparents' day, and you can fill up an elementary school. It is, it's that easy. And so we're going to take that opportunity and work with General Miyares to educate grandparents. How many have seen a grandparent who just will hand over that iPhone just to keep the grandkids? And who knows what they're having access to on that. So anyway, we are going to work on that. Also, as you know, we're a charter member of the Region 7 Virtual Academy. We were able to work with Stride K-12 to get an additional $50,000 discount on our in-person students. So that'll be another savings we have. But that is, again, another good example of how Region 7 collaborates because of the number of students that we serve outside of the division across Region 7. That'll bring in an additional, save an additional $300,000 for school divisions all across Region 7. So we're really excited about that. As you know, we had some 5 of our schools who had fixtures that tested positive for lead back before Christmas. We have now replaced all the fixtures at Greendale Elementary School. We have tested those fixtures, and we were hoping maybe to get those results back this afternoon, but they did not get back. So we hope to have them tomorrow or the next day, and we'll share that with you. Once we determine if our fix is fixed, the lead issues there, then we'll move on to the next schools. But we're just trying to determine if it's in the pipes themselves or if it's actually part of the fixture. So that's the first step in that process. As you know, in the fall we had Hurricane Helene. Of course, we had a little bit of snow this winter that's caused us to miss some school. That happened during states of emergency. And so because of that, we are eligible to request waivers for the days that we have missed. We have requested those waivers. We've received our response back. And typically, you're required to receive full funding from the state. You have to have 990 instructional hours. But we have had hours that have been waived. That gets us down to 3 of our schools would need to attend down to 916 hours, and the rest of the schools would be 923 hours. As you know, we have used 6 virtual learning days along with the days that we've missed already. Because of that, we've not missed that additional instruction. We have 4 left, and so as we'll see what happens between now and the March meeting. But my plan is to bring a recommendation for the end of school at the March meeting. And currently, unless we use up all of our virtual days and we miss more than that, my plan would be to make a recommendation that would still get everybody out before Memorial Day. But don't hold your breath, because it has been a really, really strange winter. So we have announced that tomorrow we will be closed, regular old snow day, so y'all go sleigh riding somewhere, but be careful. And because we have 4 virtual days left, we know that maybe Thursday and Friday we may have to use 2 of those, but we'd like to keep a couple in our pocket just in case we have a late snow or a late flood as we're getting closer to the SOL testing window, so that we at least have some opportunities for instruction. And we don't want to burn all of our days, unless we really just have to. So, any questions about? I know that's been a big topic with all the weather. Any questions about that before I move on? Okay. So yesterday, I think you saw that we have released our high school course catalogs, which lets parents and students know exactly what courses are going to be available to them during their high school career. We've got a lot of good feedback from that already. Scheduling has already started at our high schools, and actually maybe by the time that we get to the March meeting, high school scheduling will be done, and we'll be working on middle school scheduling. But Mr. Lambert can also provide an update if anybody has any questions about the course catalog or scheduling. So.
Well, can I give
Yeah,
credit?
please.
The course catalog, which I think is really good. Miss Honaker has pieced that together. She has put a lot of time and energy in that, so certainly want to give her kudos to her time and efforts with that.
Thank you, Ms. Honecker. It looks really good.
And I translated it to Spanish.
Awesome. Perfect.
Madam Chair, Dr. Perigin, is this just at the high school level or the middle school also?
There are some classes that are at the middle school for the course catalog, but I'll let Mr. Lambert.
There are a description in the middle school classes as far as core classes, exploratories, what we're offered.
Thank
Yes.
I just want to say thank you so much for this, because this was the first time as a parent of high schoolers since my children have attended high school they've had access to, or at least maybe they've had access to a course guide unbeknownst to me, but as a parent. And I definitely with the college and career readiness, I know Virginia Department of Education, that's something that Amy Goodere really stresses, that parents be knowledgeable about the opportunities that's available for their kids, especially when it comes to course offerings. So thank you so much for delivering it. It looked beautiful. And Judy, thank you so much. You did amazing work. I'm very grateful.
I didn't know that you all were going to talk about it. Since we're under Title III monitoring, that is one of the pieces of evidence that they had requested. And I also added all of the dual enrollment categories and courses. I got a dual enrollment brochure from Virginia Highlands Community College. I added that, and I got a new brochure from the Linwood Holton Governor School. I've updated those today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your hard work.
Is it also listed on our county website? I know I got the email with it, but is it on the website
Yes,
too?
if you'll go to district and then go to instruction, it's listed under course catalog.
The updates that I have done, I've not had time to change it on the webpage. What's on there now was last year's, but I have updated everything today, and we'll post it probably tomorrow during snow day.
Completely fine. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
That's what happens when you surround yourself with good people. So thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all taking care of that. So I know we've missed a lot of school even in the first semester. So I did want to provide an academic update. Mr. Lambert and our level supervisors have met with all principals and poured over the data that we have available to us right now. Our first semester SOL results were on par and even better in some cases than what we had first semester of last year. As a matter of fact, at Holston, I think we had, even though they had missed more days than anybody, had 100% reading SOL pass rates for 11th grade reading. So we're excited about that. In our CIP benchmark data, 7 of our 11 schools that take part in that were ranked in the 82nd percentile, and then everybody was ranked in the top percentile. So we're making good progress despite the number of days that we met as far as our first semester SOL and our mid-year benchmarking is gone. We do have 637 students at the Career and Technical Center this year. Mr. Johnson, an unofficial goal that he has is to become the second largest high school in Washington County. So he's knocking on the door there. We also had some recent skill competition winners. As you know, we had the Skills USA contest at the NEF Center, or the Career and Technical Center, last week. 9 first place finishes and 8 second place winners. As far as our VALS data goes, our K through second grade reading scores, we do have the best results in the entire CIP consortium, which is about 60-some school divisions from across the Commonwealth. From the first assessment in the beginning of the year to the mid-year assessment, we had 65 students who moved from high risk to moderate risk. and 340 students who moved from moderate risk to low risk. Of course, that's what our goal is, to have all of our students at low risk and reading on a grade level by third grade. And so that's some phenomenal results that we've already going into this year. And so currently, additionally, talking about dual enrollment, Ms. Honaker, we have, for our current year, our students are signed up for 1,694 college credits as we speak. So we still have some work to do, and we're going to use that benchmark data and the data meetings that Mr. Lambert and our level supervisors had with principals to identify areas where we still need improvement. But we're on strong standing already, and we'll continue to improve as the spring goes on. Mr. Lambert, anything that I should have highlighted?
You hit it all, sir. That's good.
All right. And there is a PowerPoint presentation that Ms. Honaker put together that summarizes that SOL data in case I didn't want to pull that up and go through it. But it's there for you, and it's also there for the public as well. All right. Dr. Wallace, can you slide me up there? All right. And then finally, we have received a preliminary notice from AVOSH, the Virginia Occupational Safety and Health, regarding the asbestos disturbance at Abingdon Elementary School. We have shared that as required with our employees. There are some items that are part of that notice that are being contested, but we will have a final report soon. And once we have that final report, we will share that with all of our stakeholders.
Thank you. Dr. Wallace, would you check and see if we have any public comment?
No one has signed up.
No one has signed up? Okay. Next agenda item is item number 6, consent agenda. We can push together 6.01 through 6.06. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Ms. Kelly, we have Ms. Rasnick, motion. Dr. Frederick, second. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none. All of those in favor, raise your right hand. Our next item is item number 7.01, Dr. Yost, school calendar proposal.
Madam Chair, board members, you know I have paper copies. These documents are online. I will pass them around. And the yellow one is draft 2, and the pink one is draft 3. If you'd like to take one of those, what makes it difficult to develop a calendar is when Skylar predicts bad weather. So with that said, it makes it more challenging when when there's not many days missed in the school year, and you come to develop a calendar. It makes it a lot easier. We are presenting to you with 2 drafts. How we came up with 2 drafts is there was a committee formed, and there was one person from each school, and there were some parents on the committee. And so we presented, and we started out with a proposal or a calendar, and we worked from that, and we changed it several times. We met twice. There were several email correspondences back and forth, and we ended up with 3 drafts, and we're presenting to you 2 drafts. And as we met, it was stated that we are not, the committee doesn't determine the calendar. The superintendent will recommend a calendar to the school board, and the school board will vote. So I'm going to present the 2 drafts to you, and how we'll start is looking at the similarities in the 2 drafts, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Perrington to make his recommendation. The first work day for teachers is August 1st, and one of the proposals was July 31st, and they did not really want that. The days vary, and we'll go over that. There is a fall break in each calendar, the Thanksgiving break in each calendar, and a winter break, of course. We have Martin Luther King Day is in there, and it is a teacher community service day. And we have possible makeup days on February 16th, March 12th, and March 13th. And then there's a spring break. The difference is in draft 2 and draft 3. In draft 2, fall break is 3 school days.
In draft 3, it's 2 school days. In draft, for Thanksgiving break, in draft 2, it's 3 days of school missed. And in draft 3, it's 5 school days. That's the real differences. So really, they're similar, except for the fall breaks and the Thanksgiving breaks. The last day of school in draft 2 is May 21st, is what's scheduled for next year. And it's May 22nd in draft 3. So they're very similar, except for the fall break and the Thanksgiving break. Other than that, they're very similar. We are off the election day, and we will attend school on the Monday before election day. Okay. I'm on.
Dr. Yost, thank you, and committee members, if you're online or in the room, thank you for your input. I did warn them that once their recommendation was made, I did have some leeway into making other recommendations. Of course, the board has final authority and can make that, but my recommendation to the board is option 3 with a couple of caveats. And in conversations with some parents and even board members, I think that we can follow draft number 3 and protect ourselves from another winter like we are having currently by adding additional potential makeup days. And so I would recommend to the board that we use draft number 3 and make the Monday and Tuesday of Thanksgiving break, November 24th and 25th, potential makeup days in case we were to miss days in the fall like we did this year. I would also recommend to the board that we make January 5th a potential makeup day, and we would come back on that Monday rather than that Tuesday. And then currently the recommendation for draft number 3 is that Martin Luther King Day is just a teacher work day. But I would just add the caveat to that could also potentially be used as a makeup day as well. So if you take those 2 days in November, 2 additional days in January, that's 4. You already have the President's Day in February, which would be 5, and then the 2 days, March 12th and 13th, are already listed. It would give you 7 potential days to make up for weather. If we have another winter like that, we could use those. However, if not, it's just icing on the cake. And so that would be my recommendation with no disrespect to the work that the committee did, but that is, I think, a good solution that takes care of a lot of different concerns that we have with this year's calendar.
Here, yes, ma'am.
It may not be the appropriate time, but I was going to move to approve the 2025-2026 school calendar draft based upon the superintendent's recommendations just now.
Hearing the motion from Ms. Nichols, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Rasnick, second. Do I have any discussion? Yes, sir.
Dr. Pearson, we appreciate that. Obviously, we don't control the weather. If any of you all think Dave Dirks does either, you need to have a talk with me. I just think it's good preparation from this board's situation. Number one, to potentially cut down on virtual days that have to be used as well because of the early floodings, because of things that may happen in September, October, and November, being able to do that. So using potentially less virtual days and also managing, and this board being responsible for getting students in the classroom as many instructional days as possible, just to have those options for makeup days. And I think the committee did a great job, and we're really not changing anything the committee did, okay? We're just saying that instruction is very important. Our kids always rise to the top and really do well, and our teachers always do well, regardless of the number of days we're there. But I think this at least gives us, as a board, the potential in preparing and understanding the importance of instructional time and at least having those options included in the calendar. Thank you.
Any other comments? Mr. Wilson?
I'd like to echo Dr. Brandon too. I think it's very important. I think the committee did a fine job with the calendar. And Dr. Yost, thank you for working with them. I also like to thank Dr. Perigin, us taking in consideration, when I was little, we had a lot of snow days. We've been very fortunate for the last couple of years. But, this year between snow and wet weather has really hit us upside the head. And I think we need to be proactive and look and try to keep our kids in the classroom as much as possible. Nobody likes virtual days, and nobody likes to be out. We all like to get out and have a summer. So I think this gives us the best option. So thank you. Thank you.
Mr.
I
Singh.
also would like to thank you, Dr. Perry and Dr. Yost, for your hard work. Mr. Wilson and let's see, Dr. Perigin and Ms. Rathnick, I had a forum at Greendale. And we had parents stressing us about, education and the virtual days not working too well. But, they said that we needed to have those kids in the classroom. And we try. We want to do the best we can. We want to be safe, though. But the other thing I want to say is, when we do have another calendar committee put together, make sure that we have the information out there to these parents if they want to be on that committee to get their input. So I want to make sure we do that. I know we have some parents, but some of those folks at Greendale didn't even know they could be on the committee if they didn't want to be. I mean, if they wanted to be. So if we can get that out, I guess maybe 2 or 3 weeks before we start having the meetings and let them decide if they wanted to come and they can talk to the principal and come through the supervisor here at Central Services. Thank y'all.
Yes, please.
I just also do want to echo what's already been said, just because this has been such a hot topic with our constituents. So I really appreciate Dr. Yost, you and the committee, Dr. Perigin taking the time to talk to parents, and I feel like this recommendation is a good combination. And as Dr. Brandon said, if we don't have to use the days, and Dr. Perigin said it's icing on the cake, but I'm glad as a board we're being proactive and thinking about the future and how can we get our students in school the most days. So thank you all.
All right. Hearing no more comments.
I know I'm not supposed to discuss. I would just add a couple things. That does protect spring break, so parents can make plans. And there's also some notes at the bottom that we should call to everybody's attention to about making vacation plans before June the 5th, because we may have to extend that on there. I think that's important to note too. We may highlight that better as we send this calendar out to you. Sorry,
That's
Madam
all
Chair.
right. Any other questions, comments?
But since you brought that up, I do want to just echo, thank you for having days that are kind of etched in stone for fall break and spring break, because 4 years ago when I came on the board, that was a huge complaint with the calendar, that we would have spring break and then we'd miss and it would be swept away, and people would already have a deposit, say they were going to Disney World or something, and then people, guess what, they're going to take their kids out of school anyway and the kids are going to miss school. So thank you so much for just being aware of that too. I know we can't make everybody happy, we're not ice cream, but I think that us having conversations with our constituents and parents, getting feedback, and the calendar committee, and really trying to have the best information and making informed decisions from there. That's all we can do. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, raise your right hand. Madam Clerk, 7-0. Dr. Yost, 7.02. New high school courses.
We will, I'm presenting to you 3 new courses we would like to add for next year. Now, in March, I will be presenting some current technical education courses, so these will not be on at this time. But there are 3 courses we add. Keep in mind, we add these courses and we look at student interest, but then students have to sign up for these courses. And as soon as, if they are approved, Ms. Honecker will go ahead and put them in the course catalog too, so we've already talked about that. So the first course is a leadership course in social sciences, and it deals with, basically, it talks about leadership, and we're always about promoting and dealing leadership. This is an elective, and so anytime we can work with develop leaders, that is a very good thing. But this is from a scientific perspective, and we're looking at the psychology, sociology, political science, and other ways that we can examine leadership. And for some students, this would give them an opportunity. We have a lot of opportunities for our required courses, and we have a lot of opportunities for our dual enrollment courses online, but we're always looking at other opportunities to offer electives for our students. So this is one, okay? The other one is a math analysis, and that is just a different sequence for our mathematics that students can take. And basically, it's a course that students have already taken geometry and algebra 2, and it develops an understanding of algebraic and other functions there. The sequence would be algebra 1, geometry, and then math analysis and pre-calculus. The difference between math analysis and trig is math analysis has more of a algebra focus and trig has more of a geometry focus. And Dr. Wallace is shaking his head because he asked me that question today. And I think I gave a pretty good answer there for beyond me. All right, the next course is for band and choral students. And let me back up a second. Those two courses are going to be offered at Abingdon High School next year. If they do well, we will offer it at the others as long as there's other schools, as long as there's interest and licensure. Okay. This next course is composition and songwriting, and it is for people or students with an interest in band or choral music. And basically, they're going to look at conventional and non-conventional ways to write music. Okay. And so this again is just a pure music elective, and this will be offered at John Battle. And so again, if there is an interest and other students showing, we could look at offering it at different places. Okay, so those are just the three courses that we're seeking approval for.
Do I have a motion? Motion first. Do I have a motion that we accept the recommendation?
So moved.
All right, we have a first and a second. Do I have any discussion?
I just have one question. What kind of teachers or positions are we going to need for this? Would this already be people that are in place?
There will not be extra teachers to teach this. They will be in-house.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple. First of all, I love all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're great. Do you have to be a band or choral student to be in composite?
Yes, that was the intent of the course. Now, I'm sure that if you can show that you have the ability to participate in the class, that they will let you. But yes, it's pre-approved, so you would have to have some music or choral knowledge in order to be able to take that course. Now, do you have to be in the class? Don't know that, but you have to have some basis there to work.
Okay. I'm just thinking of our string players, guitar.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said all of these, we have people that already have the endorsements.
Yes.
To teach them.
Yes.
And the music one, is that at all the high schools or just still at Abingdon?
We'll start it out John Battle, and
John
then we will change that and expand that based on student interest and endorsements and positions.
Those are all great. I love them.
I'd like to ask, is it possible to do a Zoom class from Abington to the other high schools if there's an interest?
We can look at that and see if we can fit that into our schedules and see how that would work. So is it possible? Yes. You know, that wasn't the first intent of that, but it is possible, yes. So I will have that conversation.
I think if there's a big interest at the other high schools, especially, I'd like to give them that opportunity. Sure. So, okay, do I have any further discussion? All of those in favor? Madam Clerk, 7-0. 7.03, Board Resolution authorizing Superintendent to execute documents on behalf of the school board.
Madam Chair, some federal grants require the board to vote to give me the authority to sign grant documents. Some do, some don't. You remember we had to do this with one grant last year. That we're working on another grant now that requires that. Just ask the board to give me that authority, even though I think I already have it. But they want to see it in writing.
All right. Do I have a
Motion to
motion?
approve.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Mr. Wilson, Dr. Frederick, second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Let's vote. All in favor? 7-0, Madam Clerk. Okay, 7.04, budget estimate and statement of needs. Dr. Perigin.
Yes, sir. Madam Chair, members of the board, I kind of teased a minute ago about having a 45-minute presentation and that I was really excited to give it. So part of that's true. I am really excited to do this budget presentation, but it will not nearly last 45 minutes. So Anyway, I'll just go ahead and get started. So, anytime that you're building a budget, which is all it is a planning document, you've got to have a way to fund that budget. And so the way that the tools that you have at your disposal to fund the budget as is going to be recommended tonight, we anticipate an increase in state funding, whether the governor's original budget is approved or the version that the Senate and House have put out. There's going to be an increase. The question that we have lingering is how much is the increase is going to be. And so that'll fund part of it. We also, you remember last year, we started generating our own revenue through the Region 7 Virtual Academy. At some point, once we decide what we can do with our regular budget and what we can't do, then we'll determine how many additional students we may want to take to generate some additional new revenue. The budget as it's proposed, currently it maintains our current contribution into our health insurance reserve. Our health insurance reserve fund is very strong, even though we changed the amount that we were contributing to it a couple times last year. It remains very strong, and if we needed to go back to that stream of money, we could. Currently, this budget plan does not require that. If the budgets were to come in lower than what the Senate and the House do, we might consider that, but that is still another funding stream that we have available to us that we're not making part of this current budget plan. We will be absorbing some positions, whether it's through our retirement, our supplemental retirement, or our normal retirement, and also combining some services. We are also anticipating an increase in our local appropriation. I'll talk about that again in a minute. And then we will be tapping into some of our all-in funds, which we still have one full year of those funds left to make sure that this budget is balanced at the end of the day. And so speaking of our increase to our local appropriation, I would just like to first of all thank our internal finance committee for coming together and coming up with a really good plan, and then taking that plan to the Board of Supervisors and our joint finance committee and pitching that idea to them. Our original plan was to take two estimates of needs, one based on the governor's budget and then one based on the Senate and House budget. After we explained everything that we wanted to do and where the money was coming from, the Joint Finance Committee said that they would prefer if we just make the one request, and they wanted it to be at the higher amount. The committees, and so we are requesting $1.6 million increase from our locality. Keep in mind that in the Senate and House versions of the budget currently, that is the amount that they say required local effort and required local match should be going up. And so that's just keeping in line with what the state recommendations are. Items that are included. Now, this is what is exciting. Items that are included in this budget: a 3% salary enhancement. That is 3% on steps, not 3% to our people. So for teachers, that most teachers would receive 3% of step 20, which is $1,780. For steps 23 and 24, if you're familiar with our salary scales, there are some really big jumps there. And so those employees that are going to step 23 and going to step 24 would receive just that step only. And so that is still well more than 3%. So those employees will get 3%. It's more somewhere around 5% in between those steps. And so in order to try to normalize those, because there's a lot of differences in those steps, and trying to pull those back in, my recommendation is for that to $1,780 everywhere except for steps 23 and 24. And that is on top of the steps, not just to the employees themselves. And then for all of our other employees, we looked to see if we needed to make any other tweaks to make ourselves more competitive, and we're really going to just do a 3% mid-scale adjustment for all of our other salary scales based on this current recommendation. Of course, that is the lion's share of what entails a budget at the school level is in salaries and benefits. However, we do have some capital items that will be part of this budget too. I won't read all the schools to you, but we have some paving needs. We try to keep those on a regular schedule. You'll see the schools where we plan to do paving next fiscal year. We also we've talked about for a long time that we have a need to do renovations in our high school auditoriums. This budget puts our money where our mouth is, and we're going to start out within this budget as it is with renovating the auditoriums at John Battle and Holston High School. We also have, at our elementary schools, many of our elementary schools have the original bleachers that were there when they were built, and they're in various states of disrepair. And so we'll start replacing the bleachers at High Point and Watauga. Of course, a main focus for this board and the Board of Supervisors is creating the safest environments that we possibly can for our students and our staff. We have contracted out some security vestibules. We've built some on our own, and we'll continue the process of doing that on our own and doing 4 additional vestibules, and our staff will take care of that. And of course, we also have inclusive playgrounds at both Abingdon Elementary and Greendale Elementary. We have a really promising lead on a federal grant, federal support from that coming from Senator Warner's office. We made it through the first round and feel really good about the second round. And so that is in the budget from a federal appropriation and not necessarily from a local or state appropriation. So as you can see, there's a lot of exciting things in that budget. Of course, we already have probably the most robust employee benefit package of anywhere in Southwest Virginia, maybe in the whole state. And when we add these things to that benefit package, I think we'll be able to help this board realize their goal of recruiting and retaining the very best teachers and staff that we possibly can. Some items that are not in that budget that we still, if additional funds do become available, the weapon detections that we've talked about putting at some of our schools, that it's not metal detectors but actually detects weapons as you go through. You're probably seeing that at some of the bigger venues and even airports. And then we did great renovations at our high schools as far as renovating restrooms, and we started at Greendale doing a renovation on stalls there, but we also need to do some renovations on restroom stalls at many of our other schools too, but that's not included in this current budget. I think everybody knows that the General Assembly should end in this short session at the end of the week. We should have the General Assembly's full budget, at least what it looks like, by tomorrow. It wouldn't be approved till Friday, but we should have the first look at that tomorrow to determine if it is going to include all the money to remove the support cap and the additional special ed funding that was in the Senate and House versions. And so we're really anxiously anticipating the release of that.
How did that get in there?
Oh my God. Kelly? What is my next slide?
He's speechless.
All right. Well, there was a little volleyball game at High Point the other day, and I was able to attend and be part of the pre-game festivities. That actually reminds me. There was mention of Pat Sora at that volleyball game the other day. And Pat Sora, I went to High Point. I think most of you know that. I went to High Point as a student. Pat Sora was a 4th grade teacher there. And, throughout my entire career, she's kind of followed me and shot me notes of encouragement. And as recently as just about a month and a half ago, she sent me an email of encouragement. And I hate to hear that she passed, but I think as educators sometimes we forget just what an impact that we can have on students, that not just while we have them, but for an entire lifetime. And Pat Sora was one of those folks that had that type of impact on me. Ladies.
Madam Chair.
Oh.
Thank you, though, for being so present. And I said the kids loved you playing along, being there, and two, exuding your energy that you do. And one thing, I wish that I had that picture, the one, there's one of you stooping down to talk to these little girls that are dressed as bumblebees, but you're eye level with them. And really, thank you so much.
Well, thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to do it. I mean, I've got the best job in the world. Whether it's at elementary schools or hanging with these guys, I'm truly blessed. But y'all go, heck on y'all. All right, there we go. Moving on, Dr. Brandon.
Yeah, back to the budget.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
When's the governor's veto session? What is it?
I don't know the date on
Consider
that.
that.
Yeah, but the General Assembly could very well approve that budget, and there's still some negotiations to come along with that. Another good thing I didn't mention about the budget is, it may not be as important for Washington County now, but sometime in the future it may be, is the General Assembly's budget we think is going to include the ability for localities to do a referendum to raise sales tax by a penny for school infrastructure needs. We're not currently in the state where we need that, but we hadn't built a new building in Washington County in a long time, and every single building that we have at some point will, it'll go out of commission. But so that's good news too, that we might at least have that as a possibility sometime in the future. That's a great question, Dr. Brandon. We're just keeping our fingers crossed about that as well too. So as you can see, we have all the things on this first slide. Those things have already happened, so we're well into the budget process for the upcoming fiscal year. And tonight we're doing our hopefully adopting the statement of needs. We will submit this to the Board of Supervisors tomorrow, which it won't be a surprise to them. Mr. Berry and his finance team is already aware of this. Of course, their finance committee is aware and supportive of our request. We do not know when the public hearing and Board of Supervisors meeting on the school budget will be. There are some delays dealing with the property assessments that are going in, and you're probably aware of some of those too, but there's some delays getting that happening. However, we are scheduled for May 27th for them to adopt the final budget, but they also weren't sure, based on the delays that they're currently having with the assessments, that we can even meet that deadline. But we at least have something to shoot for. So that was not 45 minutes, but it was very exciting for me to share with you, and so I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Do we have a motion?
Wait,
Well,
Are
we
you
need
gonna
a
do the motion
motion
first?
first. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
second.
Okay, I have Mr. Henderson and Dr. Fredericks. Now discussion. All right?
Absolutely.
I have a question. Remind me, last year, when we did the raises, we were also trying to fix some of the gaps in the salary scale. And I want to think that the top of the scale did not get as much as other parts of the scale. Am I remembering that correctly?
Everybody, at least last year, everybody got whatever percent was. I think 5% on the last. We did some salary adjustments earlier in the year too, but the final budget was approved with a 5% raise, and that was 5% of step 13 for everybody. Every teacher got that same amount, and actually every scale got that same amount based on the midpoint. 13 we use as the midpoint for teachers. I forget that number. Melissa may but anyway.
Are we still doing there's like a stipend or a bonus for people at the top of the scale that have so many years? Is it like 25?
The longevity,
Yes.
that's still part of that salary scale as well.
Okay. Does that count towards their VRS? It does, okay. I just want us to keep in mind, like, those folks that have been with us for that long, making sure that we reward them for being loyal employees for that amount of time, and also thinking about the implications that has when you're taking the highest 3-year average when it comes to VRS, and that we want to make sure that we're positioning them well for retirement. I'm just saying, for future budget conversations.
That is a great point, and it brings me to, you'll get me teaching a class here, but a balanced budget is exactly that. You have to balance needs and priorities, and when you balance the fact that we're trying to make sure we take care of everybody, and we're trying to make sure that we're competitive at every step. At the top of the scale, we're ultra competitive, and that's the reason that we have taken the approach that we have the last 2 years. But eventually, we're going to be number one in everything, and we'll be able to take care of everybody without making those adjustments. And that's what the goal. And so that's where I think the balanced budget comes in. We have to balance those items.
I agree.
Okay, any other discussion?
Finance committee, if I left anything out, y'all were a big help, and when we go as a united front, fully transparent, showing every single number that we have, it makes. I told Mr. Wilson he may have intimidated him because it was just such an easy meeting this year. We shared what we had, and it went well. Of course, Dr. Brannon is is a great advocate to have at the table as well, too.
Just one comment that may be appropriate here, that we did, based on this effort, where the Senate and the House budgets are not exactly alike either. And the conferees are, I don't know where they're at on that, but I guess they produced.
That should be tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. So we did tell the Board of Supervisors, look, we're being transparent and upfront, and it's only this. So if we come back and our need, the local required effort is only 1.45, 1,400,000, then that's what we're going to ask for. So they're in full understanding of that. We're not asking for more than what the local required effort is for that whole purpose. So I just want to make sure the whole board understands that if we come back and, let's say we got 1.7, and our needs were only 1.3, that we would have some type of $400,000 windfall. That's not the purpose of this whole relationship. It's about what do we need, what is our statement of needs, and then should these budgets somehow come back and we do not need that much, then we would lower our request.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all of those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Aye. Madam Clerk, 7-0. At this time, new business, item number 8.01, new business. Do I have anyone with new business that they would like to discuss?
Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Nichols.
I would like to just propose that us as a board, central office, the high school principals, and athletic directors have a discussion about how Washington County high school students pay their admission fees for home sporting events. I've had several parents express their concerns about this practice, suggesting that it may create barriers for students for attendance and participation in school spirit activities. And personally, over the last 2 or 3 years, I've had several discussions both with board members and with superintendents and central office staff, and even my high school principal and athletic director about this topic. And definitely I have an awareness that athletic directors and the principals, I feel like they're open to the idea, but the snag of accomplishing this is due to the funding needed for sports programs. And so I just feel that maybe we need to look into numbers wise of how this impacts each high school. And I do want to share, though, that I have observed that other school divisions successfully implement this, where the high school students can gain free admission to home games through the use of a student ID card. But also it's important to note that this school divisions I've noticed that have done this successfully also had a policy where elementary school and middle school students are not to be dropped off at high school buildings. This is for our high school student body. And that they're accompanied, I just think that's an important little caveat there. But I do think it's important for us to maybe just discuss this topic and explore potential alternatives that could support both our students' engagements and the financial needs of our athletic programs. And so if there's feasibility of a similar program in our district, and maybe discuss funding solutions that can benefit all parties.
Put that on comment.
I've got it. I do have some information about that, but I will.
Because we've talked about it several times.
Yeah, she's brought it to my attention already, and I'm happy to bring back a full report and maybe some potential recommendations.
Madam Chair, and I know that some school divisions, not local here, some of their students pay to play. They pay to play football. They pay to play basketball and other sports in Northern Virginia. And I think, and I know around here too, we have some high schools that offer a student pass. I've been an athletic director, and I know it's not cheap to pay to have anything reconditioned, talking about helmets, shoulder pads, and anything else. So you got to have some money. You got to get it somewhere.
Well, the big expense is officials.
Yeah. That's worth every penny right there. You can't play without officials.
Last night I saw 9
Oh my gosh.
for 3 games.
I do. I mean, there are examples of where that happens. There are ways to do it. You can take local funds from the school operation expense and try to supplant that. You can get sponsors. You can do grants. I mean, it's not impossible to do it, but I will say it is an uphill challenge because our athletic departments, really, other than us paying for the coaches and doing facility needs, everything that happens in an athletic department basically is paid for through football and basketball games. And so that's kind of what pays the bills. Now, y'all know there's nothing is impossible, and there's a way to get to everything if that's what the board decides that we want to do. Research it and have some potential solutions and talk about it again.
Can we ask our student reps, do you feel that if you, that your student bodies at your high school had an ID card and any home games, so football game, basketball game, volleyball game, if they were able to act, just show your ID card and they could enter for free, that you'd have like a greater, student body turnout?
I think so. I think so as well. One of the things that our Communities in Schools representative does is every now and then, especially for the bigger games, when we played like Chilhowie and Northwood for our basketball games, and Holston, I'm sorry to say, when we played Holston for our basketball games, she actually had free passes to get in for like certain students, and they won it in a drawing, and that made students really excited to get to come, because a lot of our students, at least at our school, don't have the ability to come to every single game, and so I think that would be beneficial if we could find a way around it.
Sure. Yeah, let me ask you, Isabel.
Yes.
Let's say you're gonna go watch your team, Patrick Henry, play at Holston. She's getting in free, and you got to pay.
Yeah.
I'd be mad.
But it's the home game. It's like it's for your home game. It's your home field advantage.
It's not impossible. It would definitely be a challenge, but we will, just like we do with every item on new business, we will come with some potential solutions and a recommendation. And I think I know what the athletic directors will say about that
I know
recommendation.
what they'll say too.
I also think I know what our student body would say about the recommendation. So like we talk about a balanced budget, we'll come up with a balanced approach to this idea as well.
All right. Any other new business? Will we let y'all feasty this
Lucky
month?
me.
All right, old business 9.01.
Esports. So the first round of the grant that would pay for our esports program, the first round was released, and then there was a hold put on. That was, our Title I, our school cafeteria, none of that funding was affected by the federal freeze. This grant was, so it may not be a winter solution. So more to come on that. Dr. Wallace, high school stadium, safety issues.
I did get quotes back for the 3 schools. It's about $270,000 to put handrails on both sides of all 3 schools. So I guess we'll have to look at that, figure out, maybe do them in sections. I don't know. That was kind of a thought. I thought might see if we could do the home sides first, see kind of what the price would be, but that was a lot higher than what I was expecting the price to be.
Madam Chair, I'm also wondering too, do we necessarily need them throughout the whole stadium? Maybe at least having sections where they are, and I would love to see them throughout the whole stadium, but at least maybe having like sections for people who need those can use them and get to that. Does that make sense too?
Sure.
I mean, it's potentially an option. If we don't, it's going to be so much to put it out
Sure.
throughout the whole thing.
We have any stadium worse than the other?
No, I think they're all, they're all built in similar times. You don't have handrails unless you're right up against the edge, and there's no steps up against the edge. So, you're pretty much climbing the steps. They're pretty similar at all the schools. Maybe the visitor side at John Battle's probably the worst bleachers there are probably in the division. But outside of that, they're all kind of 2 feet deep, 2 feet tall, and then they got a little concrete step to supplement the rise between the bleachers. And there's just no handrails there on any of them to walk. Holston has them just because we put new bleachers in several years ago, and that's the reason for the only reason for the 3 schools. But honestly, the needs are probably
We were
similar to
shocked
all
at
of
that
them.
is.
Yeah, I was too. A lot more than I thought.
Did that include repairing of the concrete steps or widening them as well?
No, and that's kind of if you've been to a new stadium recently, they have gaps you can cut through. It's they're nice. They're state of the art. They're rust resistant. That's installation. That's lock, turn, key. I think it's a long term solution. It's not a Band-Aid fix by any means. The company that that gave us the best quote is certainly a reputable company, and
I think they do quality work. But
Yeah, I was just thinking there could be more cost. There's some of those steps are.
well, we had them come and evaluate them. They came on site, so it wasn't a situation where they gave us a quote from a distance. They actually
We're
walked us
talking
through.
about some of those on the visitor side at
Right.
PH that are, the concrete has started to have some issues too.
Deteriorate.
Yeah.
And near the band section on that.
Yeah. And that may be something we want to look at too. You know, I've always felt like we need to kind of spread the bleachers out at John Battle and, you know, move the visitors' bleachers actually down the hill a little bit. That's all options. I mean, it's,
Takes money.
look, takes money.
Fun fact for the night that masonry students at Patrick Henry High School built that stadium along with their instructor, and they built it for a grand total of $75,000. So we've got our money's worth out of that
Absolutely.
stadium.
And we thought for years at John Battle, just to give you an idea, that the Sugar Hollow Park, that part of our bleachers were actually sitting on their property. We did a survey. That's not the case. There's plenty of distance behind the visitor side bleachers now to kind of slide them back a little bit and expand that facility. But I think that would need to happen. I mean, if you know, if we're looking at big long-term renovations, I think that's certainly essential. With soccer getting bigger as it is, we barely meet the minimum spec to hold a soccer event there. So
I think it'd be appropriate for Dr. Wallace to look up some alternatives of how we can get some handrails put up and in a way that we might afford it and take care of it out of Fund 316. Unless the board says, let's go spend the full amount and get them all under wraps, I think we can at least come up with a solution at each of these three schools for some seating.
What was the quote again for all?
it's roughly 270. I'll tell you exactly what they were.
No, that's fine.
That was for all three.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's about 100 at John Battle and Avenue and 70 at Patrick Henry. Real close.
And then, Madam Chair, finally, with the countywide garden, Dr. Lewis has continued to talk to the folks in Waynesboro about that. It's a great idea. However, you've got to have somebody that takes the lead on it, and it does have some costs associated with personnel and taking care of it while school's not out. So he's trying to work fine tune and see if that's something that we can have. You know, first of all, we got to have somebody that wants to champion it. So anyway, that's still being looked at.
All right, thank you. Update my board. Let's start with Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I had a few things. Farm Bureau, Washington County Farm Bureau dinner we had a dinner the other night where we awarded monies to all the FFA chapters in the county, all the high schools and middle schools, as well as our 4-H. We do that annually, given to them, so they can use those monies however they deem for different events and going to different competitions. Also went to the Martha Washington Day to watch the George Washington Essay Contest, where a young man from Valley Institute won that, Mr. Andrew Scott. Congratulations to him. Went to Glade Springs last night to meet the new dean of the College of Ag and Life Sciences, Virginia Tech. Was there Dr. Brandon Mario? I'm not even going to try to say his last name. From Ruzzi, I believe. He is our new dean of Ag at Virginia Tech. I think he's going to hit the ground to be more accessible and out in the community. So, looking forward with him. And also echoed by a lot of our student reps. This is FFA week this week. You know, as Isabella said, and I really chimed in on that. You know, all the great things that you can gain from the FFA, and it's good to hear students taking advantage of that. I was one of those. So take a full advantage of the FFA. It'll take you places. But that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Ms. Rasnick.
I don't have anything else.
Thank you for sharing, Dr. Perigin, the letter from Dr. Coons that recognized Watauga Elementary School and their long-term success and having great scores in student achievement. I thought that was a really thorough and nice write-up by Dr. Coons, and a good thing for our division to be recognized at the state level. I joined Miss Nichols at High Point Elementary School for the volleyball game, and I wish we could bottle the amount of excitement in that gymnasium. Dr. Wallace was there as well, but I have chuckled. I told Skylar I have chuckled about that game for days, and just what we saw there. But a lot of school spirit, and thank you for hosting us at the Farm Bureau dinner. It was nice to see our FFA folks recognized. I also want to say kudos again on the course catalog. I looked it through. I love the hyperlinks that take you to different parts of the document. I also like some of the comparisons that show parents the difference between dual enrollment and AP courses. And I know that it's a living document, but it's off to a wonderful start. And thanks, Ms. Honaker, for all your work on that. I also was out in schools on Friday. I think I was about in 5 different schools visiting student teachers. But also I just want to thank the county for the support they give our up and rising teachers that are student teaching or visiting classrooms and things like that. Our student teachers felt so supported by not just their mentor teacher, but the whole staff there. I watched one of our student teachers play the volleyball game with the rest of the staff and how they included him in that game. And it's just a great environment for those pre-service teachers to see what it's like to have a career in education. So just want to thank you for, I know a lot of you play a part in placing those folks and supporting them, and I just want to thank you for your efforts there because it makes a wonderful experience for them. And that's all I have.
Ms. Nichols?
Well, I want to just say thank you so much to all the schools that brought gifts by today for School Board Appreciation. I'm so honored to represent Wilson District and just to have the opportunity to serve my community, and definitely almost feel undeserving like the month of February when we do receive presents from the schools because they're so I said, just thoughtful, intentional. As we have handwritten cards from students, and I've kept every one the past 4 years. I mean, I have a file that I just keep them in, and definitely have a lot of student art, in my office at home. And thank you. Also, this month has been really busy. It's been a whirlwind. I've had a lot of travel with my work, but also I've had the opportunity to participate in several advocacy groups because sessions going on in Richmond. So I'm continuing to help with the Students from Challenging Environments Task Force. So I was able to go to Richmond for that, as well as a federal advocacy group. I've never done that before. It was really amazing experience to go with Virginia School Board Association to Washington, D.C. We had the opportunity to meet with Senator Tim Kaine, and then Morgan was busy with committee meetings. I met with representatives from his office and then representatives from Senator Warner's office because he was busy confirming people. So, but just to be able to be, at our nation's capital to raise awareness about issues that are affecting education statewide in the Commonwealth, but also in Southwest Virginia. And definitely got a really warm reception from everybody. I feel like people love Southwest Virginia. I definitely love Southwest Virginia, but I just feel like that was very warmly greeted by each office. And then on a local level, it's been great to attend the events supporting our students. As Dr. Frederick mentioned, we had an awesome time at the High Point Elementary 5th grade versus the teachers volleyball game. And it was on Valentine's Day, so those kids had it was sugar infused. But I'm so happy to report that the 5th grade Lions triumphed over the teacher Tiger team. And so, they, I think, have almost like a perfect record of defeating the 5th grade teachers. And this morning, was able to attend the George Washington essay contest at the Martha. That's always such a well done, super nice event. Thank you, Dr. King, for organizing that. You're doing such a great job there. And I was also able to attend the DAR essay contest at the Coombs Center this afternoon, where the focus was on the American flag and what it meant to each student. We had 2 students from Watauga, that read their essays, and one from High Point, and they just did such a good job. We have great writers in elementary school level. And so just moving forward, I feel very honored to have the opportunity to serve, and thanks for your continued support. I am running for re-election and have some petitions floating around the community. And so if anybody from Wilson District wants to sign my petition, please reach out to me. I'll bring it by your house. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I like Isabella. I had a professor at Emory one time, Dr. Thomas Graybill, and somebody said something that before the other person talked. You stole my thunder. Well, Isabel, you stole every bit of my thunder. Talking about stuff, good things going on at Patrick Henry, but I have a couple other things. I want to thank Mr. Wilson, you and the Washington County Farm Bureau, that was a great event we had down there, and the money going to not only the FFAs in our high school, middle school, but our 4-H organization here in the county. Thank you all very much, and it really shows that y'all care about our students in those organizations. Thank y'all and the whole entire board. The George Washington essay was really nice today, and we had 3 students from each elementary school, first, second, and third place. Then the overall winner, as Mr. Wilson said, congratulations to the young man at the Valley, Mr. Scott. Also, I too have been going around myself, Ms. Nichols, getting some signatures on my petition to run for election. I have 144. If anybody wants to sign some of mine, just holler at me and I'll get that. But going around, I have been talking to a lot of people. And I had one grandparent, the grandfather, pulled me in the house there and we talked. And he said, I want to tell you something about Washington County schools. I'm originally from Grayson County. My wife's originally from Dickinson County. We've lived over here now for I forget how many years. Both of my grandchildren went to Abingdon Elementary, E.B. Stanley, and Abingdon High School. They got accepted at Virginia Tech. One graduated magna cum laude, and he is in med school at Tech right now, and the other one is an officer in the Air Force. And he said, I want to tell you, y'all are doing what you need to be doing there in Washington County, and educating our kids in Washington County. So that made me feel really good about things. And we do have my colleagues who was at the George Washington essay missed one of our principals, Mr. Colston. He was not there, but he was in, I believe it's at Dallas.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. I knew it's Texas. Accepted an award for Greendale Elementary. So kudos to Mo, made up there at Chill High Elementary School. He and I ran that school up there at Chill High Elementary, and he's doing a great job here in Washington County. What else do I have? Sorry, Isabella, you stole the rest of it. I'm just kidding you, honey. So that'll be all, Madam Chair. And I'll tell you what, the Rowdy Rebels, I don't know, did they win? Did you know?
I'm not sure, but I can guarantee they probably did.
They will go on. That qualifies them for the region, just winning the district. And they're, like you said, there's our swim teams and things of that nature, and the indoor track. So let's just say, one thing I want to say about wrestling. If you don't know this, we're just having a one-day event in Salem this year. We're going to have weigh-ins at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. So if you want to go to Salem Civic Center and really see something that it's wild, man. I'm going to tell you what, they come in there on the championship rounds. They cut the lights off. It's like WWF. They cut the lights off and they could bring about 40 or 50 from Grundy out through there with former state champions. And then they have the finals. So it's exciting. The fans really get into it. The kids get into it. They got about 12 mats on the Salem Civic Center floor, and they flat get after it. So if you get a chance, get up there to Salem this weekend, if it's not snowing, and watch our locals in the state wrestling tournament. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Dr. Brandon, no comment. Okay, I'd like to say I was able to do the George Washington essay. Thank you, Dr. King. Farm Bureau dinner was really nice to get to see all of those young people in those blue jackets. And what that does. And again, recognizing the Phil Lineberry Bingo Scholarship will be in first Saturday of March at Holston. And then I would like to say that thank you for the gifts and the things, but today has been a pretty emotional day for me because I have received, as part of their 7th grade curriculum, emails from the 7th grade students. And I cried on a lot of them. But the thing I noticed, and I shared with Dr. Williams and Dr. King, you need to realize that the writing has greatly improved. in the past 2-3 years. Today's emails were definitely more than just a one sentence. We really got some details, and someone said, how can they remember you from kindergarten? But they do. So those have been very meaningful to me. And I'd also like to say that the Damascus community has lost 2 icons, legacy leaders in our community, and that is Jerry Cornett, passed away today, and then Donnie Foster. Both those men were very strong leaders and supporters of our community and everything that they did. So and then remind you that the Justin Foundation auction is coming up in March. Get your number. All right. Hearing no other comments, I will receive a resolution to end open session.
So bear with me, there's a lot. I make a resolution that the board convenes in closed session after a 5-minute break for the purpose of discussing the following matters as authorized by Section 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia. Section 2.2-3711A2, request for release from compulsory school attendance due to religious exemption, 2024 through 2025, cases 19 through 23. Section 2.2-3711A1, discuss performance of specific individuals, consider employment of specific individuals, consider transfer of specific individuals, consider long-term medical leave of specific individuals, consider resignation of specific individuals, consider specific individuals with non-teaching assignments to receive coaching supplement only and subject to 1, VHSL approval, and 2, within number of positions approved for coaching, receive confidential and attorney-client privileged advice and consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by the school board regarding specific personnel, facility, administration, and compliance matters, Section 2.2-3771A8.
Second.
All of those any discussion? All of those in favor? Aye. Okay, we will close open session.